Mazel Tov on finishing Seder Nashim, and welcome back to Just 2 Minutes, Just a Mishnayos. So we're going to do an introduction to Seder Nezikin and Maseches Bava Kama, and the first two Mishnayos of Maseches Bava Kama. So first of all, Seder Nezikin is we're going to be talking about Nezikin. Literally means damages. So especially in Bava Kama now, we'll be talking about if someone damages, how much does he have to pay? What are the laws of the damage? What exactly is damage? So we'll give a brief intro. So first of all, the main types. There's a few main types of damage which we'll be talking about. So there's a person, there's an ox, there's fire, and there's a pit. So an ox means first of all, so the person is a person who damages. A pit means something which is in public property which damages. So it means a stumbling block basically in public property. It doesn't mean specifically a pit. The pit's just an example. And also fire, it means something which damages, which moves. So it could be a bowling ball, rolling down the street. It could be a robot, which is could be a train. But the example given is fire. And shar, an ox, is divided into three categories: Karen, Shane, and Regel. Karen, which is the horn, means when the ox damages by goring. Shane means the shane, tooth, which means teeth. It means that it damaged by eating. And Regel, which is the foot, means that it damaged by just while it was walking. Now, there's two words which we're going to be using a lot, which is mazik and nizak. Mazik means the person who damaged, and nizak means the person who was damaged. So, who the damage was done to. So, with that in mind, let's start Maseches Bava Kama. Arba obvious Nezikim. There are four main categories of Nezikim: Hashar, Habar, Hamav, Vahever. Shar, which in this scenario, we're saying shar now. We're saying an ox means the foot, which means it damaged derech hiluchai while it was walking. Bar, which is a pit. Mave, which is the tooth of an animal, which meant that the ox damaged by it ate someone else's crop. Vehahever, which is fire. So mave, so we'll just keep it simple. The tooth is not like the foot, because the tooth. So if we had only written, we're trying to work out now why we wrote all of these four things. If we could have learnt them out from each other. So we couldn't have learnt out tooth and we had to write tooth and foot. We couldn't have learnt them out from each other because the tooth, when the animal eats, he has benefit from it. Whereas when he's just walking and he damages, he doesn't have any benefit from it. So we had to write them both. Now, we couldn't have learnt out fire from the tooth and foot of a ox, because in both those cases, it's an ox doing the damage, and an ox is a living thing, whereas fire isn't a living thing. So we couldn't have learnt fire out from it, and fire and the tooth and foot of an ox, we couldn't have learnt out. We couldn't have learnt out a pit from that, because all these three things, they move to do damage, whereas a pit doesn't move, it stays put. The things that all of these four things have in common is that it's normal that they damage, and you have to guard them if you have one of them, to make sure that it doesn't damage. And when it does do damage, you have to pay for it, and if you're paying with land, you have to pay with the best land that you have. Mishnah Beis, so anything which you have to guard to make sure it doesn't do damage, if it does do damage, you have to pay for it. So even if you only did a little bit of the damage, so for instance, a pit only kills when it's 10 tfachim deep, the 10 handbreadth deep. So if it was 9 and you dug an extra 10th and someone fell into it and died, you have to pay for the whole thing. So even if you did a little bit of the damage, you have to pay for the whole thing. So everything which you just said only applies in the case where the property isn't where the property is a regular piece of property and it's not hektish, it doesn't belong to the Beis Hamikdash. Nechasim shel bnei bris, and it belongs to a Jew. Nechasim shel yuchadim, a piece of land which belongs to someone, and that it's not hefker, it's not ownerless. And in any place, as long as it doesn't belong to the mazik, to the person who damaged, or as long as it doesn't belong to the person who damaged and the person who was damaged. And again, if it does do damage, he has to pay for it, and if he pays with land, he has to pay with the best land that he has. And those are the days Mishnayos.